Hi everyone, this is Daisy here, aka Professional High Priestess. I apologize for the delay. I had to run a couple of errands before I got started. Um, this is going to be an interesting topic because I know that there's been a lot going on YouTube in terms of tarot, tarot being of the devil, all kinds of stuff going on right now. I know that there's a lot of karmics probably in this chat just waiting. And I do want to let karmics know that a lot of y'all are blocked from my page, so your comments will not show up in the comment section, okay? Because we don't entertain energy vampires, mess, garbage here. But what this is going to be about is basically we're going to talk about a little bit of the history of tarot. Then we're going to talk about a little bit of Egyptian philosophy in relation to tarot. We're going to talk a little bit about twin flames as well. So this is going to be not a hodgepodge of things. I have my notes here, so of course we're going to keep it tracked. But this is going to be some insight and information for folks. And I do want to add, I know I've slowed down a little bit on dropping the deeper philosophical knowledge and wisdom, because a lot of karmics that don't have any knowledge of self, they come on my channel, then they pick up all the information that I throw down, and then they go onto their channel not knowing what the fuck is really being talked about, not really having that knowledge of self, and regurgitating shit to get people to pay for readings and things like that. That's why I kind of slow down on the knowledge, right? And I've been putting a lot more on. I'm gonna be putting a whole lot more on Patreon, in the days, weeks, and months to come. So I just wanted to put that out there. But first, let's talk about something that is maybe, I guess, let's talk about what the underlying theme here. I believe it's really the North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius. All right. South Node is all about past life karma and also karmic cycles that we need to move out of. Right. So with the South Node being in Sagittarius, Sagittarius rules over the ninth house. So collectively, the South Node is in the ninth house for us. So what's going to be happening is there's going to be a lot of resurgence of outdated philosophical systems. There's going to be a lot of false teachers coming out of the woodworks. There's going to be a lot of ideologies that are not rooted in a complete framework being thrown out there. What's also happening right now is because the North Node is in Gemini, it's going to be pushing on us to get into more of that Gemini third house energy, learning, using our intellect, stepping outside of the box. You know, Gemini is all about intellectual stimulation, right? It's all about, okay, learning about different topics, right? Learning about different philosophy systems. That's why Gemini and Sagittarius are teamed up. Learning about those different systems and then being able to basically teach that to the masses in a way that they understand it. So that's what's happening right now. So it's also going to be forcing a lot of people to get out of their comfort zone and learn about things that they're not usually comfortable with. So for some of you who may have been like traditionally very religious, you're going to be getting pushed outside of the box right now, you know, to learn about other different ideologies, learn about different things. Or some of you guys may collapse more back into that South Node energy and stay stuck into the religion or philosophy or culture that you know that you're used to. So right now is a really good time for a lot of us to be thinking about, okay, where can I practice more open-mindedness in the ideologies that I'm currently engaged in and the information that I'm receiving so that I can have a clear picture and understanding of what's going on. And then also you have to realize too, colonialism, white supremacy, there's a lot of information that's missing and that's lost, right? Then on top of that, a lot of us are trapped in the energy harvesting, aka labor and work. So we're at a rat race, 9 to 6 or whatever, how many hours you work. By the time you get off work, you don't even have the time or the energy to keep on doing studying, you know? So then it's like you just kind of stay kind of stuck in this cycle or this wheel. So that's the first thing that I want to say. So this is kind of where this energy is coming from, this North Node, South Node energy. Let's get us more into exploration and understanding. I'm not saying just jump into things just like that and go. I would say if you understand the principles of energy, if you understand the planets, if you understand how nature works, you would understand that a lot of these different philosophical, spiritual, religious systems are practicing something that we call biomimicry, which is basically they're mimicking cycles of nature, processes that we see in nature. That's why we have like the 12 disciples. They're talking about the 12 seasons, or in some religions, there's 13. So that's something that we need to just let's get grounded. So, but when you're studying and you want to tap into these different philosophical systems, I would say using the framework for nature, the celestial bodies, things that are grounded, right, in the universal laws, the 108 universal laws. That's what's going to really help you avoid maybe getting involved in something that actually has its root in like some dark magic, something that has its root in love and life philosophy, something that has its root in something that you probably just don't want to get involved in, all right? Because the South Node in Sagittarius, unfortunately, the lower vibrational aspect of Sagittarius energy is the misuse and abuse of philosophical systems or knowledge and information and wisdom, etc. For because due to associations, the need to want to associate with power. So that's what I have here for y'all. So let's keep moving. Let's talk about tarot, because I know that there's been all type of talk about tarot is evil. I throw out all my cards. That's of the devil. And if you read tarot cards, you're a devil. You're evil. Okay, let's just keep it hella real. So for a lot of these readers that are leaving tarot, that's their personal business. I'm not here to tell anybody to do anything. That's their own thing. Me personally, I use tarot and I use oracle cards and my intuition. I also want to add that there's a lot of reasons why people are leaving tarot right now. One, people are getting caught the fuck up and there's about to be a major tower moment. That's all I'll say about that. Two, some people have found that it's not a part of like they don't want to continue to be a part of tarot, or they've had experiences that let them know, okay, maybe it's time for a different journey, right? Three, some individuals have had some type of spell work or magic put on them, wherein when they try to read cards, they can only reflect their energy, so they feel like there could be something evil going on. There's people on YouTube, other readers that are doing this, but I do know that there are forces outside of YouTube that are doing this to different readers, because a lot is being shaken up, because now people can go to a tarot reader to find out the truth and whatnot, right? That's why when we're talking about if is tarot evil, first of all, the Rider-Waite, the whole concept of tarot, which is the theory of the archetypes, comes from ancient Egypt. Now, though, the Rider-Waite deck, which is the traditional tarot deck, the first tarot deck with like all the different images that we see today, because the other traditional tarots, like in the cards, in the playing cards, with like the spades and the hearts and things like that, it has some of its foundational theory there, but it also has some of its foundational theory as well in Egyptian hermetics. So Hermes, thrice great, the information and knowledge and wisdom of Thoth, etc. Some people feel like that tarot predates ancient Egypt. This is the thing, though. When we're talking about tarot predating ancient Egypt, it is the Egyptian pantheon, though. It's the Egyptian culture that actually helped solidify it, because tarot is just archetypes. That's what they call it, the major arcana, the major secrets, and the minor arcana, the minor secrets of all human behavior. This is the thing about tarot, though. Tarot, the Rider-Waite deck that we're using today, was really pioneered by the Golden Dawn, which is a secret society. So anybody that's touched tarot and you're like, okay, well, that's of the devil, etc., etc., you've already been initiated. Because the first level, the first aspect of initiation into the Golden Dawn is studying tarot. Tarot not only has its, yes, it has a lot of information about Kabbalah, because we're going to get to that in a minute, because there's a lot to be discussed here. So the Rider-Waite deck that we're seeing today was actually created by a Black woman named Pixie, Pamela Coleman Smith, in London. Her mother was Jamaican and her father was Irish. And she came to New York to go to Pratt Institute, which is an art school that's still here today. And she being a part of this gold secret society. She met Rider Waite, the guy that they call it the Rider Waite deck, but she's the one that actually created all the artistry for it. So let's look into that. There's a lot of history here that we are not even looking into. So the Rider Waite deck, it has its roots in the Golden Dawn, okay? Hermetics, ancient Egypt. It also has its roots too in the Kabbalah, the tree of life. Each branch of the tree of life is associated to one of the major arcanas. Now, though, when we're talking about ancient Egypt, we're talking about the Kemetans, and we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites, there's beef. There's beef. It was so funny because I saw a meme one day, and it was the Power Rangers like shaking hands, and it was saying when the Kemetans and the Israelites finally call a truce, finally. And this is one of the reasons why I don't deal with the conscious community, because there's so much fighting and arguing and drama and chaos and whatnot that it's like we can't even get into the real teaching, which is the ascension. Because some people are so worried about shit that doesn't matter. But let's keep going. Let's keep on going. Now, when we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites and we're talking about Tarot, the problem here is that the Hebrew Israelites have an issue with Kemetic knowledge and teaching because of the ways in which the Hebrew Israelites were enslaved by some of the pharaohs. Now, this is the thing that you have to understand. When it comes to the Egyptian pantheon is actually one of the organized in human history. But the thing about the Egyptian pantheon, and we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites, it's not Ma'at and Sekhmet and Anubis and whatnot that enslaved you. It was the pharaohs who fell from grace and fell into narcissism that enslaved the Hebrew Israelites. Let's keep it hella fucking real, right? Just like, was it Yeshua, the one that facilitated the Crusades? No, it wasn't Yeshua or Mary Magdalene or the 12 disciples that were decimating people, sacrificing people, and killing people. No, it was individuals that were carrying that ideology that facilitated that. Matter of fact, if you were really learned about Kemetan philosophy, the book of Thoth, the first chapter in the book of Thoth is actually all against black magic. It's against black magic. It's against doing anything that will make your heart, I would say, less than light. That would lower your vibration, because they knew that keeping your heart light, staying free of the ills of the world, is the only way that you can walk through the halls of Amenti. Right? So, when it comes to tarot being evil, and the different people on YouTube, like, tarot is evil, I'm going back to Jesus, I'm going back to God. I mean, there's even tarot, they talk about tarot in the Bible. Kemetan philosophy and Christianity, Gnosticism really, they have correlations with one another, because Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all Abrahamic religions. They all descend, though, from that Kemetic system of knowledge and wisdom. So when you're talking about Isis, Osiris, and Horus, are they talking about Mary, Joseph, and Yeshua, the child? Where did they get that from? The Immaculate Conception? That's from Isis. But that's also from the Sibyls, Mami Wata, as well. Right? So when y'all are out like, oh, well, tarot was evil and this and that, you have to realize a lot of y'all done built your money off of tarot. A lot of y'all done built your popularity off of tarot. That came from these ancient Egyptians. It's not just about, oh, they're leaving tarot. No, it's about, you're disrespecting the ideology that this came from. Given the fact that, let's just keep it real, Golden Dawn, Hermetic Order, Golden Dawn, they do some low vibrational rituals and shit like that. I'm not ascribing to that, but because they had access and privilege to Egyptian knowledge and things like that, they were able to go into those lands, pull out that information, and they kind of shifted it to the way that they wanted it to be for their purposes. That's why there's still a lot of work that we need to do in terms of cleaning up a lot of this stuff. That's why a lot of books are hidden by the papacy. the Dead Sea Scrolls, all kinds of things like that. Now, with the Hebrew Israelite drama, because I know a lot of people come to tarot about twin flames and things like that. Tarot cards themselves are just not evil. They're a tool for divination. It's the individual that uses the cards that makes it evil. It's what they use it for that makes it evil. If you're using this to put to stalk people, gang stalk, and cause drama, that's what makes it evil. Tarot itself is not evil. And then also that's why we talk about ethics. Take the tarot class because we talk about ethics as well too. Ethics. Some things you probably don't want to know because then you can shift time, change time, Wheel of Fortune, shift destiny. That's why the funny thing is on the Wheel of Fortune, it has a wheel. It says it has a different Hebrew letters tarot on it. You can shift time. You can shift destiny. You can create karma. You need ethics. That's why only certain people were allowed into the order. Only certain people were allowed to get initiated into tarot. Just because people read tarot does not mean they're initiated. No, because when you're a real tarot reader and you're allowed to read tarot, you get some secrets and insights that are out of this fucking world about the tarot. It says tarot and it also says Torah. A lot of people are not ordained to read tarot. That's why they're like, oh, I'm throwing away my cards. You were never ordained. So when the real heat started with those cards, that's why you had to drop them. Or you created so much karma and bullshit, that's why you had to drop them. Just like the Bible, people used it to do bad things. Exactly. Back in the day with the Protestant Reformation, they kept Bibles away from poor people. There's a reason why they did that. And then Martin Luther, what did he start doing? He started printing Bibles. So people would have access to it so they can learn themselves what was put in there because the priests and stuff like that, they were misleading people. It's not the ideology or the religion or the pantheon itself. It's what people do with it, period. I don't use that Golden Dawn Torah. And certain decks I stay away from. That's another thing too. Certain decks, you got to be careful with it because they're consecrated to different systems. All right. And then when you start having certain dreams about them, that's how you really, really know, like, oh, this is deeper than just some cards. You're talking about the secrets to the universe. That's why a lot of people, they don't really got the key. Like I said, they don't got the keys to the streets. Now, let's keep on going with this religious fanaticism because I also, I got an email from somebody and they were talking about you're not a real twin because real twins don't practice, I guess they say idol worship. I don't know what idols I was worshiping. They said I don't know what the fuck idol I was worshiping. Let's just keep it all the way real. And true twin flames, the true twin flames are only Hebrew Israelites. You have to understand, like, within the Bible, because they have the 144,000, right? Those are like the twin flames, etc., etc. But you guys have to also understand that there's different type of indigenous systems that talk about twin flames. They call it the sacred marriage. And only certain people were allowed to engage into the sacred marriage. Hinduism has a form in the Bhagavad Gita. They talk about sacred marriage and twin flames. In Thailand, in different as because you know when you talk about Buddhism, there's Japanese Buddhism, there's Thai Buddhism, there's Indian Buddhism, right? In different type of Buddhist sects, they even talk about this as well. You have to get into a certain plane of existence because there's 32 planes of existence, right? You have to get to a certain plane and then you can get your sacred marriage. Even within the Mayan and the Aztec cultures, they talk about that as well. Even within Aboriginal cultures, they talk about that as well. It's not just for the Bible, y'all. So a lot of these people that are on here running their mouth talking about oh yeah, you're not a part of the 144,000 because you're not a Hebrew Israelite. You're a misogynist. And you practice self-hate. Now, let me tell you why. Because a lot of what is being discussed with these Hebrew Israelites, because mind you, here in the Bay Area, you know what they do? They stand in front of the mall. They stand in front of like the BART station and they hold up signs with people chained up and stuff like that on it. They tell women that if they don't dress a certain way or act a certain way, that they're going to be, enslaved and stuff like that. I'm here in the Bay Area where there's a lot of people claiming twins, but they seem to be soulmates making money by exploiting others. Exactly. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But here, a lot of them are misogynist. They have no knowledge of self. They're low vibrational. A lot of the books that they're claiming to read are basically, it's like incomplete history. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to start playing with these ideologies, go to the ones that are the oldest and the most intact. Then work your way down from there. Because some of these newer ideologies and newer thought patterns and whatnot, they're helping to just complete what was lost in some of the older ones. But let me talk about some of these Hebrew Israelites, because some of these religious fanatics that have been emailing me, I'm telling you, making videos about, it's not just about me, but it's just about the fact that there's a lot of confusion. That's why I say, like, only certain people should be reading for twins. Only certain people should be channeling for twins. Not everyone's a twin flame. Let's look into this, though. I will say this. The truth is going to be revealed very soon. And you know, this book is called Cosmic Mother. And the great thing about this is it has an index, right? And it has a bibliography. So you can actually go and read hundreds of dozens of other books that reaffirm this knowledge and information. That's awesome. Now it says here, the jealous god. In ancient Sumeria, sheepfold also meant vulva. In Sumeria and Near Eastern myth and custom, the shepherd king was consecrated in a sacred marriage to the queen of heaven. Under the eroticized veil of the beautiful young queen was the primordial great mother, she of the fruitful Neolithic garden. The biblical King David was also a sacred shepherd. David is Solomon's father. His sensual and ecstatic songs of earthly love, so untypical of the Bible, derive from the ancient love rites of the shepherd king and the goddess. Her Canaanite names were Asherah, Astarte, Astoreth. The settled people of the Old Testament, like everyone else in the Near East, practiced goddess worship. But the problem here in the days that we're in now is so many people have forgotten this aspect. It was the goddess before it was the male god. Because within the goddess, they can find the god. Within the woman, they can find the man. It was complete. Because everyone, when you're conceived in the womb, right? Doesn't everyone start default female? Okay, this is what I'm talking about with some of these codependent readers who are putting out this ideology. You need to be down with your twin for all costs. You need to bow down. You need to do this. You need to do that. Pray for them. Help them. Da-da-da-da-da. If they're with the karmic, it doesn't matter. Buy spells for them. Bow down for them. Do all these things. It's codependent, and they're lacking in knowledge of self. It says here, the Old Testament is the record of the conquest and massacre of these Neolithic people by the nomadic Hebrews, followers of a sky god who then set a biblical god in the place of the ancient goddess. Wasn't the very first book that we put out about the Sibyls, about these women who are prophetesses? King Solomon learned in the temple of Astarte. Astarte was actually is Ra, the sun god. That's his daughter. So when these people are talking about, oh, you're doing, it's wrong to talk about that. You're not a twin if you talk about this or that. You're not a twin if you read cards, or if you do this or if you do that. A lot of these Bible stuff that y'all are worshiping, a lot of this stuff comes from the ancient goddess cultures. A lot of the Bible was stolen from the Sibyls and the prophecies that they laid out. Most of the book of Revelations is. A lot of these prophets learned under Asherah, Astarte, Astoreth, Diana, Isis, Ma'at. They all learned under these different goddesses. Then they bastardized the knowledge. Hence why we have phallic worship, to subjugate the feminine. There's a really good book called When God Was a Woman, and it talks about this entire process in detail. But let's keep on going here. The biblical Hebrews were a nomadic, pastoral, and patriarchal people. Tribes of shepherders and warriors who invaded land belonging to the matriarchal Canaanites. Both Hebrews and Canaanites were Semitic people. The Canaanites lived in agricultural communities and worshipped the orgiastic Astadic moon mother. As Old Testament stories relate, the Hebrews sacked, burned, and destroyed village after village belonging to the Canaanites, massacring or enslaving the people, a series of brutal invasions and slaughters described typically by theologians and preachers as a spiritual victory. These are the idol worshippers that they've been talking about, divine feminines. This is why when people are talking about, oh, I'm a twin, and they're very low vibrational in their femininity, very codependent in their femininity, incomplete in understanding of the goddess, I can't fuck with you. You don't know what you're talking about. Any woman that's sitting there in their ideology worshiping just man or just woman, it's both the masculine and the feminine energy together, mother and father, Isis and Osiris together, you're a karmic, and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the keys to the streets. In this way, the Hebrews established themselves on the land, along with the worship of their sky and thunder god Yahweh, Jehovah, calling themselves his chosen people. Chosen because they were stealing the matriarchal knowledge and the prophecies and enslaving some of these sibyls in their camps so that whenever they need prophecy or something like that, they have one right there next to them. Because remember, Solomon, he went to the temple to go learn under Astarte. Some of his wives were actually priestesses from these temples. Yes, they were quote unquote pagans. King Solomon himself, if you really understand Solomonic magic, that's one of the oldest forms of sorcery on this planet. It's talking about how to control demons. A lot of those different sigils in Solomonic magic, they're talking about how you control demons. King Solomon had how many wives? Like about 400 or something like that. His wives petitioned, no, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. This. He had Babylonian wives. He had Canaanite wives. He had sibyls as wives. He went to go learn under Astarte, who was the daughter of Ra. King Solomon had wives that were Babylonians, and they gave offerings to Moloch. So if you're going to worship, if you're going to be engaged in these ideologies, make sure you take all of it, not just the parts that you like. To say, oh, I'm a twin. Take all of it. Or none of it at all. Now, but the funny thing is, Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes Trismegistus, I have such a hard time saying that. I get so tongue-tied. Hermes. That, oh, you know what? That more stuff, be careful, because I know someone that did that, and not only did he flashed that to the police, they took his car, they took all his paperwork, everything. Maritime law. Hermes Trismegistus. If you read the Hermetica, a lot of the Hermetica is connected to the Book of Enoch, which is also a book that was taken out of the Bible, but you can't tell them nothing, right? Yahweh's male prophets and priests, however, despite their political victory over the Canaanites, had to carry on continuous struggle and fulmination against their own people who kept on backsliding into worship of the Great Mother, the goddess of all their Near Eastern neighbors, for she had originally been the goddess of the Hebrews themselves. There's a really good movie. It's called Golem, and it's about a woman who basically she learned the secrets about Judaism and the cube and about the Hebrew letters and all these different things and the tree of life and Kabbalah. But you know how she did it? Because they wouldn't let women into the temples. She would have to go and hide under the temple to go learn the things that she was learning. And then she saw them conjuring different beings and stuff like that. They created a golem, which is basically like a hybrid demon. They use spell work to create it. Go watch that movie. It's kind of talking about some of this stuff. But for those of you who are all up in this, like, Jesus, Yeshua, all these different things, okay, that's good. And at the same time, too, recognize how that worked directly against your ancient ancestors, your ancient female ancestors that were prophetesses. Yeah, a lot of that shit is witchcraft. I'm not even gonna go into that. A lot of it is witchcraft. A lot of that Solomonic magic, those sigils, that's a lot of that is real witchcraft. It begins in the Genesis with the takeover of the goddess's garden of immortality by a male god and the inversion of all her sacred symbols. The tree, the serpent, moon fruit, woman, all turn into icons of evil. Look, the war against the goddess is carried on by the prophets, ranting against the golden calf, the brazen serpents, the great harlot, and the whore of Babylon, the Babylonian goddess Ishtar, against enchantresses, pythonic diviners, mommy water, right? And those who practice witchcraft. It is in the prophets' war against the Canaanite worship of these stone idols, the triple moon goddess, red, white, and blue, which is the color of the flag, okay? The triple moon goddess, worshipped as the three-horned pillars or menhirs. One of her shrines was on Mount Sinai, which means mountain of the moon. Moses was commanded by the Lord to go forth and destroy these idols, who all had breasts. So when y'all are putting out this Bible and you're petitioning this Bible and you're talking about all this stuff, make sure you know where this shit is coming from. Make sure you know what you're aligning yourself with. You're really aligning yourself with the destruction of the feminine. Until that shit stops, women are going to continue to be subjugated on planet Earth. And the masculine is going to continue to be exalted and having power over. We talked about this, the evil and the eagle and the condor. The problem with what's happening right now is that people are continuing to put energy into these different systems that continue the subjugation. Black woman intuition being disrespected always, because we're the originals though. Why the serpent? The serpent is the Kundalini. Why is it considered evil? Why is it Eve that led Adam to ruin and to sin? How is it that women were how was I created from your rib when women were parthogenic? Do you guys know what it means to be parthogenic? Parthogenic means self-reproducing. A lot of women can self-reproduce. We still have that function, but it's low, very low vibration because of witchcraft, because of magic, and because of trauma. Now we call them cysts. If you understand a cyst is basically when when an opposite merges with itself, when an egg merges with itself. And instead of creating an embryo, it creates a cyst, a ball of cells. You can be Christian. Yeah, no one's saying that don't be Christian, but just know what you're a part of. Just know the ideology that you're supporting, right? Just know that this is where it came from. It came from the destruction of the feminine and the goddess temples. But the funny thing is, with the different, even there's something called astrotheology, which is basically the study of religion and how it relates to astrology. A lot of the different disciples and a lot of the different things that they're talking about within the Bible, they all have their roots in different astrological transits. There's this book called The Phoenix Returns. Don't worry about the top of it. I was doing works and something happened. And it talks about the different prophecies. It talks about Yeshua. It talks about Peter. It talks about everything. Look at here. It's not just certain 20th century Christians that have begun to visualize and worship God as the mother. The Gnostic Christians too worship the feminine aspect of God as the creator and seed of all life in the cosmos. The problem with these people that are running around right now, their ideology is incomplete. It's very masculine based. It's imbalanced. That's why you see them chasing 5, 10, 15, 20 years after a man that's super toxic, beats their ass, doesn't give a fuck about them. All because I'm the 144,000. I stand by my twin. Okay. Meanwhile, he's giving the karmic money to put spells on you. Okay. Right. Yes, ancient ability. Come on. Isis had it. Even when she put her man together, what happened? She couldn't find his dick, his phallus. She got herself pregnant. That just goes to show, damn, I got all the parts, just not the last one. Still got the job done. Hey, Isis is the original OG. I'm the only one to get the job done. She got it done. But look at this. Let's not go too far because Isis in some ways has been a little bit tainted by this Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky. Okay, now let's look into this. It says, it is not just 20th century Christians that have begun to visualize and worship God as the mother. The Gnostic Christians too worship the feminine aspect of God as the creator and seat of all life in the cosmos. Their teachings abound with feminine references to various aspects of the Godhead. Furthermore, most Gnostics follow Jesus' lead of equality of the sexes, allowing women equal right and opportunity to teach, read, and lead in their group discussions and meetings. As a matter of fact, Mary Magdalene was recognized as the leader of the Gnostic Christians, as Peter was recognized as a spokesman for the Orthodox Christians. In many of the Gnostic Gospels, Mary is praised as Jesus' most intimate companion, the symbol of divine wisdom, and a woman who knew the all God. This sometimes led to a bit of conflict due to male chauvinism on Peter's part. This is what happened. The masculine tried to overpower the feminine. Aren't we seeing that now? Isn't that what happens in the twin flame dynamic? Your masculine try to power over you. That's why he gets jealous and does the things that he does and plays games, because he wants to be in power, but subconsciously knows that this relationship cannot happen unless you're the one in the front seat. The names of the books that I have on hand is The Phoenix Returns, Aquarius Dawn, Liberation Begins. And then another book that I have here is called The Great Cosmic Mother. In one gospel called Faith and Wisdom, Pistis Sophia, the funny thing is, in the Gnostic, it says everything starts with Sophia, wisdom, right? Peter complains that Mary is dominating the conversation with Jesus and displacing the rightful priority of Peter and his brother apostles. He urges Joshua to silence her and is quickly rebuked. Later, however, Mary admits to Jesus that she finds it difficult to speak freely in front of Peter, as he has difficulty accepting teachings or advice from a woman. That's why a lot of these karmics I be running around on YouTube talking about, because there's many of them. I don't know what I'm talking about, and that's crazy, because they're still in this patriarchal programming. Because they're basically repelled from the true mother wisdom. That's really what it is. It's not about me. It's about the fact that I'm kicking this goddess game 360 degrees. That's the problem. A lot of these karmics that run around, because there's many of them, there's legions of them. A lot of these karmic feminines are the same ones that gave up the ghost back in the day, that led these Hebrew Israelites to the camp to come destroy the mothers. A lot of them sided with men to destroy the temples of the goddesses. You watch that movie called The Wicker Man? It was women that brought the men in to destroy. Period. All they're doing is just doing their job that they've been doing for centuries over and over again. You guys watch that show, The Handmaid's Tale, about the Christian religious dogma? Isn't it not Serena Joy, a woman that started all of that? That started the concept of Gilead? It's a woman. But the funny thing is, as it's a woman that started Gilead, it had to be a woman that ended Gilead as well. Look how that worked. Wasn't it the women that thought about that fucking ceremony that they do on the handmaids? Where isn't it the wife that has to hold the handmaid down? Okay. Yeshua replied that whoever the Spirit inspires is divinely ordained to speak, whether man or woman. Look. Wow. Ellen Pagels, the author of the Gnostic Gospels, points out that many of the letters and teachings that have been attributed to St. Paul were never written by Paul. These pseudo-Pauline letters, as she calls them, often have to do with church organization, ritual dogmas, and doctrines. It is here that we see Paul's so-called disdain for women, where he says that women have to be subservient to men, that they have no right to speak, much less teach in the church. The Gnostics also taught that God created not Adam, the man, first, and Eve, the woman, second, but human beings of both sexes simultaneously. Indeed, the literal translation of the book of Genesis in our own Bible quite plainly states that God created Adam, the Hebrew word for human being, not Ish or Zakar, the Hebrew word for male being. There's even a question as to whether Eve was the first woman because of the references made to a woman named Lilith. In these legends, Lilith, the predecessor to Eve, demanded to be viewed as Adam's equal and was therefore exiled from the garden of Eden by Adam. Enter Eve and the apple, and soon Adam himself was thrown out of Eden. Was it really Eve's fault, or simply Adam's own karma rebounding on him? Damn. Damn. It says a woman can't make a man asexually. But this is the thing, though. Whenever anyone is created in the womb, any child, it's first female by default, period. Then there's a genetic code that is written, either, I think it's the XY chromosome kicks in, because it's after a certain week that you can find out the sex, right? Then what ends up happening is there's something called a creation of the Wolfian ducts. Because, a woman has a cervix, right? That's literally just the man's penis outside of himself. The woman has the ovaries, right? That's the man's testes. The Wolfian ducts are created, then the penis then is formed. External versus internal. The Hebrew word for God in Genesis is Elohim. This word has been translated as God or He, but its roots are both of masculine and feminine origin. Elo, the feminine singular for goddess, and the masculine plural ending aim. Wow. The dual nature of the Godhead. Gnostic references to the feminine aspects and the masculine feminine dual nature of the Godhead are quite plentiful through their teachings. One example of this, which echoes scientists' explanation of the dual aspects of the human brain, the masculine side being the organizer and categorizer, and the feminine side being the creator and initiator, is found in the Great Announcement, which explains the origin of the universe as follows. From the power of silence appeared a great power, the mind of the universe, which manages all things and is a male. The other, a great intelligence, is a female, which produces all things. These powers joined in union and are discovered to be duality. This is mind and intelligence, and these are separable from one another, and yet are one founded in a state of duality. This means that there is in every one divine power existing in a latent condition. This is one power divided above and below, generating itself, being the mother of itself, father of itself, sister of itself, spouse of itself, daughter of itself, son of itself, mother, father, unity, being a source of the entire circle of existence. In the Apocryphon of John, we again read about the dual nature of the Godhead. John relates a mystical vision he has of the Trinity after the crucifixion. The heavens were opened. Matter of fact, before I even get into this, when Yeshua was crucified, and they buried him in the tomb, and he was resurrected, who was the first person he exposed himself to? A woman. All right. Now, the heavens were open, and the whole creation which is under heaven shone, and the world was shaken. And I was afraid, and I saw in the light a likeness with multiple forms, and the likeness had 3 forms. He said to me, John, why do you doubt, and why are you afraid? I am the one who is with you forever. I am the Mother, I am the Father, I am the Son, the Holy Trinity, Isis, Osiris, Horus. How does a father... They say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. How does the Father and the Holy Spirit come together to create the Son? That's blasphemy. Stop it. In the secret book, we find the Hebrew term ruah, a feminine word used for spirit. The book goes on to describe this divine mother spirit. She is the image of the invisible, virginal, perfect spirit. She became the mother of everything, for she existed before them, all the mother, father. Now, in the Egyptian pantheon, they have the goddess Neith, who was responsible for creating the Ogdad, which is the 4 pairs of different gods and goddesses paired together, right? You got Set and Apep. Ra and Apep, they're brother and sister. They're paired together. They're counterparts, which is so funny because Apep is known to be evil. But here, we'll talk about that in a little. We talked about that before, in terms of negative and positive being paired together. But Neith is also considered to be Archangel Michael, because she's the one that came down when Apep lost his fucking mind, was Set, and tried to create these children of unsuccessful rebellion, children of Ifshet. Neith had to come down and regulate, just like Archangel Michael had to come down and regulate. Okay, let's keep on going. In the gospel to the Hebrews, Yeshua also speaks of my mother, the Spirit, adding that whoever so becomes a true believer in God gains both both father and mother, for the Spirit, Ruah, is mother of many. So, for those of you who are playing these games, for those of you who don't know yourself, for those of you who are engaging in low vibrational thought patterns, disrespecting the feminine, disrespecting yourself, you're not getting any closer to your divinity. Period. Those of you talking about, I'm a twin flame, I'm part of the 144,000, but you're practicing a patriarchy. internalized misogyny, self-hate, and you're working against the goddess, and you're not even learning about the goddess. You're a karmic. You are not a twin flame. Let's keep it hella real. Some people say, well, how do you know? Well, what makes you know that you're a twin flame? First of all, I'm Igbo. Igbo Nigerians, there's a whole sector of Hebrews in Nigeria. They actually practice Judaism. These people were actually on CNN. They're called the Lost Tribe, the tribe of Gat. That's how I know. You want to know another way that I know? There was a day I seen my twin at the store. Literally, he on the back of his shirt was Hebrew letters shifting and moving. And I was like, wait, hold the fuck on. Pause. That's how I knew that was my twin. Pause. Pause. Let's go into a little bit more. The astral theology. When we're talking about a lot of the Christian texts and books were taken from the Sibyls because the Sibyls had master teachings of astrology and astronomy. They were master mathematicians, right? Okay, let's look into this. It says here, there's a part where it talks about this, where they're talking a lot about astrology in the astral theology. This book is so good. It even talks about the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and the correlations between both of them. It says Jesus is said to have traveled to North India, Nepal, and then on to Tibet, where the Buddhist priests welcomed him with open arms. Wow. There's so much more to be learned. A lot of y'all don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There's so much more to be learned. That's why I'm saying twin flames is not just in Hebrew, in the Bible. It's so many different ideologies. That's why I'm like, you guys need to study all of them to be complete in your understanding. Let's look into this. The disembodied hand. Ooh, it's a little bit after this. Look. I put this in the, what the Bible calls the single eye and Eastern philosophy calls the third eye enables some individuals to perceive the auras of people around them. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. Hi. The oldest references to Jesus can be found in a set of Hindu scriptures called the Srimad Bhagavatam, which has been described as a fruit of the Vedas and the Upanishads and the embodiment of the Lord himself. In this age, the Kali age, the age of chaos, or the end times, the Srimad Bhagavatam is similar to the Judeo-Christian Bible. There we go. That's what I'm saying. They talk about twins and not just it's in categories. Get up on your knowledge game. Where's this prophecy at? Basically, what they were saying was Yeshua had made a prophecy that basically was saying, oh, look, it says woman and God. I'm gonna read that chapter again. Because they were talking about all the different prophecies of the Bible the different prophets and stuff like that, like Isaiah and Daniel and the lost tribes of Israel and da 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 da. But there was one part that I feel like was so important that I wanted to read out because it's talking about some of the stuff that's going on now. Damn, I did numbers on this book. Sorry. Basically, what Yeshua was saying was there, about the Messiah. It was saying that what would happen was, okay, it's showing the Holy Shroud here too in this book. That's crazy as hell. Why I had this page bookmarked because I read it out in one of the because for the book club I actually read the chapter that we're gonna study or parts of the book. And I feel like it was right after this chapter about the shroud. Dang. Okay, but he was basically saying that you will know that the end of false prophets, and you will know that the end of tyranny and everything like that was near when you will see the image of a man appear in the sky. The image of a man appearing in the sky when we're talking about astrotheology is the age of Aquarius, because isn't the constellation of Aquarius a man in the sky bearing a picture of water meaning truth? Okay, so I feel like what needs to happen here is there needs to be a lot more study too of the celestial bodies and whatnot, because when you study the celestial bodies, a lot of these different systems, they make a whole lot more sense to you. Wow, it says here, it even has a chapter about judgment. Chapter 20, judgment, karma of the nations, karma of America. America's about to get some real karma. I'm not even about to get here. I'm not even going to get into that. Oh, wow. Wow. There's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. Did I show my notes? Did I go through all my notes with this lesson, with this chapter? Let's see here. Yeah, pretty much. There needs to be balance. So we talked about the tarot. Okay, we talked a little bit about that. Then we also talked about, some of the misconceptions about the twin flame and things like that. Now we talk about some of the misconceptions because a lot of folks only know twin flame because of 144 in the Bible. It's not the only place. As you clearly see, Yeshua traveled to all different places. They also have their own ideologies for sacred marriage and twin flames as well. Get it together. This religious fanatic bullshit that y'all got going on in this twin flame collective, these readers and these watchers and stuff like that, you guys need to get it together and start really, really, really like studying and get deeper. Get real deeper. For some of y'all, your job is to actually go through all these different systems. Not everyone can know everything about everything, right? But some of your jobs is to go through these different systems and collect the bare bones, like the skeleton of the system itself. Collect like the meat and potatoes, and then when you come across another system, be able to correlate that and create the reoccurring themes for all of them. The funny thing is, in this book too, it talks about the Hopi traditions, which are Native Americans. They even talked about Yeshua. There's a lot more to learn. There's so much more to learn. But really, like, respect yourself as a woman, as a divine feminine. That's why I'm like, all y'all chasing these masculines, and I'm being told that I'm just bitter and da 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 da. Nah, I recognize the reality of what is. I'm the feminine in the situation, right? I'm me and my masculine, but because a lot of the times the feminine is more spiritually attuned, I could call the spiritual judgments, whereas the masculine can call the physical judgments in some cases. If the masculine is acting out of balance physically, and I'm the one that called judgment on the spiritual plane, obviously as above, so below, I'm going to call judgment for my masculine to get in check. If that means me separating my energy and allowing them to go through their karmic cycles, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take my energy out of it, right? I'm not going to be sitting there being codependent, chasing, watching, stalking, or whatever, because I'm a quote unquote twin, because I've been brainwashed by some type of religious ideology. Stop it. Let's see what people got saying here. Right. Yeah, I put the names of the book earlier. I'll put them in the I'll pin it to the comment section. Right, the Parthenogenesis. Exactly. Exactly. Legend of Sophia. That's that Gnostic unction. Oh, you know what? You want to know another thing too? Before I even knew about twin flames, I had read this book called the Sacred Matrimony by Samael Anwar. It's a Gnostic unction. Before I even knew about twin flames. Way before. But you want to know the funny thing about Samael Anwar? He was a very powerful Christian Gnostic. His children, Osiris, Isis, Anubis, Ma'at. Come on, complete your knowledge and your wisdom. Right, right. The brainwashing remains. And honestly, people are gonna believe what they want to believe. That's fine. Just don't come over here with bullshit. Period. That's all that is. Yeah, Yeshua is the real name because you know the letter J was not created until the 1500s. Okay, right. He knew the names of demons and how to summon them and control them. That's real sorcery. But that's one of the reasons why in the Bible Daniel told them there's not going to be a sun in this seat for at least 200 years, right? That's why one of the reasons why Israel imploded because they were playing with spell work. Okay, it talks about that in that book as well too. But I knew that before I even got into that book. I had a feeling because I saw King Solomon in the astral plane. That shit was kind of scary, and he wasn't really happy. And one of the reasons why is because of what was created. If he knew then what he knew now, the shit gets really real in the astral plane, really real. Now, wow, look it came to abolish religion exactly. You know who you look. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, they told you were not ready. You're almost there. Apples do not grow in the Middle East. That's so funny. Was it a fig or an apple? Who knows what they be conjuring up? But I feel like a lot of the Bible was rewritten to promote this masculine force, this masculine takeover. Okay, it needs to be balanced out completely. It really needs to be balanced out. Like the feminist movement in terms of like women needing rights that was necessary, but I feel like the way that people are doing it now is completely like off. Like it's complete imbalance. It needs to be balanced between both the sexes. Period. And I live in the Bay Area, the home of a lot of this stuff. And it's just complete like chaos and madness. And if you say things like this, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, you hate women, you practice internalized misogyny. This is how fucked off their minds are. On one end, it's complete dominance by the patriarchy force. On another end, it's complete like disrespect of the feminine too. Because a lot of them they don't even practice the type of stuff. They're like, oh, you're if you just try to tell them anything about womb clearing or practicing sacred sex or things like that, there's something wrong with you. I went to a retreat with Alice Walker, the one that wrote The Color Purple. She was the one doing the retreat. And I asked a question. I was like, I want to be able to promote like feminine womb healing for women that's like, they've been hurt or harmed or things like that. And immediately the whole entire room was like, you're transphobic. That's transphobic. They started spreading hella shit about me all around the community, telling people that I was transphobic, that I was homophobic. What the fuck? Because I talked about womb healing. The funny thing is, Alice Walker was like, why would that be transphobic? Some little ass girl, a little girl stood up and told Alice Walker to shut up. This is the type of shit that goes on today with this Tumblr activism and the social media mess. I'm telling you, it's a mess out here. It needs to be balanced, masculine and feminine. You're not supposed to be subjugated. It needs to be in harmony. Period. Ooh, the true Holy Spirit is the goddess of magic. Y'all going down. Y'all going hard. Oh, I'm not even tripping about them. I'm not even tripping. I'm not. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And but the truth is gonna a lot of them are gonna be going through a lot of karma right now with Saturn and Aquarius. Because the misuse and abuse of the crown chakra, the intellect, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You need both. The masculine is supposed to be the protector in the physical, this feminine, the protector in the spiritual. But the masculine also too has to learn how to protect themselves in the spiritual. The feminine needs to learn how to protect herself in the physical. It's all about balance. They have to go into union within before they can go into union without. That's why a lot of times it's hard when the feminine goes into union within with her masculine and her feminine side, and the masculine is still engaged in toxicity. That's why they get a karmic, a distorted feminine outside of themselves that teaches them. It's only then when they finally learn that lesson to be in harmony within themselves that they can come into union. That's why some people are like, well, if your twin is not if you're not in union with your twin, there's something wrong that you're doing. Absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't start that bullshit. That's that same Adam and Eve bullshit. Oh, she led him to the fruit. No, your masculine has to do that work. But remember, there's so much patriarchal programming because it's a fucking spell. It's a spell that's been going on for thousands, hundreds of years. So obviously that template needs to be cleared. You see, just like slavery is a spell, patriarchy is a spell, colorism is a spell, capitalism is a spell. Thank you, Karma Child, High Priestess. I'm about to read that. Let me screenshot this. There you go. Two men or two women cannot reproduce. Oh. That is Ratara. Yeah, y'all gotta get your y'all. This is why I say, like, I try to bring different type of ideologies and wisdom and information to y'all. I relate it right back to what we're talking about. Even in the Bible, they talk about Ezekiel's wheel. They said Ezekiel saw a wheel descending from the sky, and it was four beasts. One had a head of a man, one had the head of an ox, one had the head of a lion, and another one had the head of a falcon. That's the world card. The four fixed signs: Formahalt, Antares, Regulus. Why the hell did I do the last one? The star in Taurus. Why did I miss the last one? I always do that. I always forget just one of them, but there's four of them. For the four fixed stars, making the royal cross. And each one of them are at the four corners of the zodiac wheel. A wheel, they make a wheel within a wheel. That's what Ezekiel's wheel was about. The Most High was showing you when these four stars go into alignment, something's gonna happen. No, it's not serious. It's Formahalt, Antares, Regulus, and then it's the one that's in Taurus. The last one is it's in the constellation of Taurus. I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now. It starts with the A as well. Oracular propaganda would have us believe the constellations are the source of the Makurgi. It's a lot big. It's a bit bigger than that. Aldebaran, thank you so much. Aldebaran for Mohan, Antares, Regulus. Those stars together make the cross, the royal cross. The four fixed signs on the world card. A cycle of completion. Forming stability. There you go, the twins coming out of that. But I feel like there's something to be studied even within that. The power does not emerge from the material. The material emerges from the power. You should already know that. Let's get rid of all this evil toxicity. It's not about it being evil. It's about the fact that, like, don't be spreading ideology that you are not complete in. Don't be putting stuff out there that you don't know what you're talking about. Don't be claiming. I mean, people want to claim twin flames and their twin flame. Okay, but then you better be ready for that work. What if you're an actual twin, like you Gemini or something like that? Like you have a twin, like a brother or sister twin? That's funny. Um, Hi Victoria's Secret. I heard that Jesus is the name of the strongest demon in hell. I learned that from I read a book called The Code to the Matrix. I put it in the book club. But the funny thing is here too, the letter J was not created till the 1500s. So who's Jesus? So do you believe that religious systems are merely neurological memes that connect our puny mortal minds to realms outside the multiverse? Yes, some of these religious systems are connected to different hyperdimensional entities too. The names that you speak give them power. Yes, that's hella true. But you want to know the greatest example of that is in when you look at the Isis. If you look at some of the ancient hieroglyphs, Isis in her crown, she has Venus. Venus is also known as Lucifer in her crown. Wow, Jesus is Jesus, the Gallic god of shame. Because you know, a lot of the English language was derived from the German and Satanic Bible. Keep on dropping those. Ooh, ooh, thank you, idiot Tan. Who I don't know who you are, but you need to first of all message me on link on Instagram so we can really go into some shit. Wow, Lucifer's not in the Bible. It's pure Druidic magic. Ooh, no, because it's I don't think it's called Lucifer. It's called Satan. But they I feel like they bring the names together. They put those two concepts together. Lucifer and Satan are two different entities. Wow, wow, that's so crazy. All black magic. That's why I'm like you got to be careful what y'all praying to. The Star Sirius, Regulus. So when you're playing with some of these higher level starseed planets and entities and things like that that are outside the just the immediate solar system, Sirius is connected to Saturn. So it goes Saturn, Regulus, Sirius. You don't just go straight to Sirius. No, you have to walk through the celestial mansions. You have to go through one door to another into another door. And a lot of the times you have to look into your constellation because you may not even be connected to Sirius. You may be connected to a different star. That's why you need to look inside and see like of the which fixed star out of the four royal stars do you possess. Then you'll be able to really see, okay, this is the lunar mansion that I worked through to get to these different galactic systems. That's how they organized us. Lucifer in the Bible in Hebrew is halal. Halal is an angelic rank. Wow. The morning star, exactly. But that's the Empress, right? Venus is the Empress, but Venus is connected to Lucifer. Venus, its rotation with the moon of the Earth makes a five-pointed star. Look it up. Chemistry equals study of chem. Exactly. If you're a true Kemetic, you know that alchemy is alchemy. Alchemy created chemistry. Igbo Jews and Ethiopian Jews, exactly. That's why some people are Jewish. So, ooh, my Instagram is professional underscore high priestess. I would love to learn that. Like, yeah. And I got some stuff I can share with you too. Word spells everywhere. Yeah, because a lot of it's etymology. When you understand etymology and you break that shit down, ooh, Pluto can be death, but Pluto can also be transformation. Wow. We are on planet ship Astani, which is docked on planet ship Venus. And did you hear what happened about Venus today? They found extraterrestrial life on Venus today. Right, Sophia. Venus was in the news today. Exactly. Ne- if they had sense, they just stay out of there. Aborigine to abhor your origin. Wow. Indigenous. Wow. In Vedic, Venus is considered the guru of demons. Whoo. That's deep. This is going wild. I wasn't expecting to be here that long because I got a couple of sessions that I need to do. Um, do y'all want to continue this conversation later again tonight where we just come and drop knowledge about this stuff? Oh, I was gonna do the Mars meditation tonight at 9 o'clock. So then if that's the case, then it will probably be like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Oh, hell yeah, idiot 10. Hell yeah. Of course, they're hiding different life forms on planet Earth. Of course, they're hiding. They have such advanced technology. It's like that movie Prometheus. I was gonna say Prometheus, that movie Prometheus. Of course, they got different technology. They know Earth is crazy as fuck. They know what these Europeans are about with this mining and stuff like that. They know. They know we're hella destructive. Handle your business. I know some ish. Starfleet is telling it all. DJ Starfleet, you're going hard. I love the messages that you put out too. We are not on Earth. I wonder where the fuck we are because the shit that goes down here is a mess. An absolute mess. I love you too. You guys are so awesome. We just took this to a whole galactic level. That's what I love about us. Like we always can take it out, like out there. A lot of people really don't understand what the fuck is going on. And so like instead of them just realizing that they're not on game, like you're gonna be the crazy one in the days to come. But I'm telling you, this galactic knowledge and wisdom, I have some stuff for you too. Galactic DJ Starfleet. Yes, we are. And that's the PUM. I'm gonna hit me up on Instagram. I got something to show you. All right. All right, y'all. We're gonna get back on later on tonight and let's talk about aliens and galactic talk and things like that. Bye.